Good afternoon and welcome to Discover Smarter Ways to Work with Sage HRMS. I'm Joe Rotella and I am thrilled to be with you today for a fast-paced walkthrough of the Sage HRMS ecosphere. Just a little bit of housekeeping. We are recording today's webinar so that we'll be able to send you a link where you can get this and play it at your leisure because we're going to go very, very fast. So who knows, you may want to see this thing again. I also want to remind you that there are a set of handouts. So look for your GoToWebinar control panel and you'll find some handouts there. You can download lots and lots of goodies there. We also have a chat window that you can interact with us. We love that. And we have a Q&A window, a questions window. So if you have any questions as we go, please put them in the questions box. There's a whole team here of folks who can help answer those. If we don't get to them live, I promise we have a section at the end for Q&A. If we still can't fit it in, I promise we'll follow up with you. Keep the questions in the questions box and keep the chat discussion stuff, which we love, and I want to encourage you to do that, in the chat window. So with that, I think we're ready to begin. You're probably already using Sage HRMS every single day, but the big question is, are you getting everything out of it that you could? Today's goal is simple. I want to show you how add-ons backed by Sage and from trusted tech partners can eliminate busy work, boost compliance, and support every stage of the employee journey. This is not a demo. Think of this as a tasting menu, something to whet your appetite. If something catches your eye, we've got deep dive webinars lined up just for that. So let's get started. I want to start with our agenda here. Here's a quick roadmap for the time we'll spend together. We're going to start with why Sage HRMS continues to be the core of your people strategy and how its value multiplies when you connect it with powerful add-ons. You'll meet key Sage tech partners, and we'll walk through the full employee lifecycle, highlighting where each solution fits in. Along the way, I'll share a few quick polls and examples to make it interactive. And most importantly, we'll preview a series of focused webinars that go deeper into 6 of the most impactful add-ons, so you can choose the ones that matter most to your organization. So with that, let me turn off my camera and buy you a little bit more screen real estate, and let's get started. Now, before I talk about software, I want to talk about your most valuable asset, your people. Every initiative you take on, whether it's strategic growth, digital transformation, or process improvement, depends on one thing, your people. It's not the systems, it's not the spreadsheets, it's not the equipment. Even the best tech is meaningless without the people who use it well. That's why HR systems matter. Not because they're flashy, but because they help you engage, develop, and retain the talent that moves your mission forward. Everything we look at today is in service of that goal, helping your people succeed so your organization can thrive. Now, one of the strengths of the Sage HRMS ecosphere is its flexibility. You don't need to buy a bloated suite or lock yourself into features you'll never use. Instead, you start with Sage HRMS as the core, and then pick the add-ons that make the most sense for you. And because these tools are backed by Sage, endorsed even, and built to integrate, you don't have to worry about siloed data, duplicate entry, or conflicting workflows. Whether you need better hiring, or time tracking, or performance reviews, or compliance monitoring, there's a module that fits, and it grows with you. At the heart of this ecosystem is Sage HRMS. It's your single source of truth, or your single point of truth spot for employee data. When you centralize information in one place, you eliminate duplicate entry. That's going to reduce errors, and you can make sure that everybody's working from the same accurate, up-to-date info. If you've got data in multiple places, it's kind of a hot mess, right? Because you don't know if they're in sync, and you got to keep them in sync, and somebody's looking at one version, somebody's looking at another version. That's not going to work. The key for compliance, for decision-making and reporting, but also for trust, is that single point of truth spot. Employees expect transparency, managers need visibility, and HR needs control. And when the add-ons we're about to explore write data back to Sage HRMS, that spot, that single point of truth, you keep that clean, auditable, real-time foundation intact. Now, I'd like to start with a quick poll, and don't worry, this isn't a test. We're not going to tell your boss or anything how you answered, but here's my question for you. How confident are you that you're using Sage HRMS to its full potential? Are you very confident? Like, got it, 100%, I nailed it. Or I think I'm doing okay, but maybe I'm missing something because there's a lot out there that's part of the Sage ecosphere. Or do you feel like, you're right, I got a lot to learn. I know there's a lot out there and I want to do better. So go ahead, click in your response. It's just going to give me an idea of where folks are coming from. And if you land in the I've got more to learn category, you're in the right place. This webinar is designed to help you see what's possible. So I'm going to leave it up to my team here to help me know how our responses are coming in. How's it looking like out there, folks?
Yeah, it's looking like 48% said I'm doing okay, and about 38% said we got a lot to learn.
And I want to give a quick shout out. I know so many of the names out here today. Like, I feel like, okay, Anish, Eric, Brandy, Kathy, I can't go through the whole list, but it's like, Linda, these are my people. These are my people out here. So thank you so much for joining us. I think you're going to be impressed with exactly what's out there in the Sage ecosphere. So thank you for your answers. Now let's talk Sage HRMS. It's powerful on its own, but it becomes truly transformative when paired with the right partner tools. Sage works with a curated group of tech partners, companies like Delphia, that's probably where you know me from, CMS, and VineyardSoft, to extend the platform in really smart, targeted ways. And these aren't bolt-ons from some random vendors. These are deeply integrated, supported by Sage, purpose-built to solve real HR and payroll challenges. And these folks, Delphia, CMS, VineyardSoft, they're not like catching up with Sage HRMS all the time. They're actively talking to Sage, the product team, the developer team, to make sure we are always in sync and we are really complementing that whole ecosphere, and it plugs and plays beautifully with Sage HRMS. So in the time we're going to spend this afternoon, I'm going to try to very, very quickly show you how each partner solution fits into that big life cycle and how they work together to eliminate friction, automate tasks, and make life easier for everybody that's involved. So I want to give you a quick snapshot of who's in the ecosystem. So you have Delphia Consulting, that's where I'm from. We publish tools that support time tracking, paperless HR, self-service, analytics, and performance management. So we're going to talk about things like Sage Time and Attendance, Sage HRMS HR Actions, Sage HRMS HR Analytics, and Maviva. That's all from Delphia. CMS, and a shout out there to Brian Kelly and Lindsay, they bring us iRecruit for Sage HRMS. I love iRecruit. It's a modern, mobile-friendly applicant tracking and onboarding platform that makes hiring faster and more seamless. And KnowledgeSync, Greg Swallow's out there with us. If you've been to any of my webinars, you know I call it yoo-hoo from Bewitched. I love alerts and workflow. It's an automation engine that helps you stay ahead of deadlines and take action when important events happen in your Sage HRMS data. We're even going to talk about how it can look at way more than Sage HRMS data. Each of these tools plays a role, and I hope I'm going to be able to, in our limited time together, highlight where they fit as we move through the life cycle. So this graphic is going to be our guide today. We're going to use it to orient ourselves around the employee life cycle, from recruiting and applicant tracking, onboarding, that's all up there around 1 o'clock. And then we go clockwise to benefits and time tracking, all the way through performance, learning, alerts and workflow, utilities, right? As we go out, I'm going to try to call out which section we're in so you can see the flow and understand how these add-ons really help you create a truly connected experience, a journey for your employees and managers, HR alike, right? The whole crowd. So I want to start at the very beginning, which is recruiting. We all know that first impressions matter. In fact, at Delphia, when I first started, I put a sticker on everybody's phone because we were in an office then, and it was of a fish. And people were like, why is there a fish on my phone? It stands for first impressions start here. Fish. And that matters to everyone, and it especially applies to candidates too, right? If your hiring process is clunky, slow, inconsistent, then it doesn't just frustrate applicants, it really affects your brand, right? So the good news here is that there are smarter ways to recruit. And with the right tool, you can make hiring more efficient, more responsive, and a whole lot less manual, right, for both HR and candidates. This is why applicant tracking matters. Today's candidates expect a mobile-friendly, consumer-like experience. If you're asking them to email HR, download this form and fill it out, or you're behind the game. Like, forget it. I just turned 61 a couple weeks ago, and my great nephew even told me, Uncle Joe, you stand online to buy tickets to go to a movie? Like, you buy your tickets on the phone in advance. People expect self-service. On the HR side, every time someone re-enters data from an application into Sage HRMS, you're wasting time and you're increasing the chance of mistakes. At the basic level, Delphia has a simple online application through HR Actions, right? But for organizations that want a full-featured recruiting solution with workflows, approvals, and integrations, that's where iRecruit really shines. It's built to modernize the entire process from job posting to onboarding, even sharing those jobs on recruiting, websites without adding complexity. iRecruit is a hosted, cloud-based platform designed specifically for Sage HRMS. It handles the full recruiting lifecycle, job posting, requisition approvals, candidate workflows, background checks, even texting your applicants. It's mobile-friendly, it's easy to use, and role-based. So hiring managers, recruiters, and admins can each see what they need. And it's flexible. You can customize candidate workflows, auto-notify team members with alerts and workflow, and post to all the major job boards. There are no limits on job postings or applicants, and it integrates cleanly with Sage HRMS. So when you hire someone, that data flows right into Sage HRMS. There's no duplicate entry required. Now, at the end, I'm going to invite you to a deep dive on this on July the 15th at 2 o'clock. But if you want us to sign you up now, in case you're not here for the poll, in that chat window, please just go ahead and type iRecruit. If you type iRecruit in the chat window, we'll go ahead and sign you up for July 15th. We'll register you. And the good news here is if you can't make it, we'll just send you the recording. So in the chat, go ahead and put iRecruit or put it in the Q&A or, somehow tell us. I'm also going to give you that option, kind of at the end of the game today. Now, once you've hired the right candidate, the last thing you want is a frustrating onboarding process. If you're still printing forms, chasing signatures, emailing PDFs back and forth, you're not just wasting time, you're sending the wrong message to your new employee. Remember, FISH, first impressions start here. First impressions count. I really, to be honest, didn't pay a lot of attention to this till I started reading like LinkedIn posts, Facebook posts, even I've seen TikTok videos about it, where people are like, I started my new job today. First day on the job, I spent all day filling out paper forms. It's embarrassing. Onboarding should feel smooth, digital, and compliant without a mountain of work for HR. This is where the magic of integration starts to really pay off. With Sage HRMS and the add-ons we're talking about today, onboarding packets can be dynamically assigned on the employee's role, location, or status, so they get the right forms at the right time. You ensure compliance with federal and state documents like I-9s, W-4s, and WOTC, while tracking form completion in real time. And everything flows where it needs to go. There's no printing, there's no rekeying, there's no bottlenecks. And we got a little utility Active Directory. That'll even update folks in Microsoft's Active Directory. You could bolt on alerts and workflow, start notifying folks that needs to be done. It's a better experience for the new hire and a huge win for HR efficiency. And again, there's going to be a deep dive on this on July 15th. So tell me in that Q&A box, type onboarding or iRecruit if you want us to register you. And remember, if you can't make it, we'll send you the recording, so no worries there. But I got to keep moving fast because that's a huge life cycle, right? So we're going to talk next up about benefits. This is one of the most complex and time-consuming parts of the HR process. Maybe it's right up there with payroll, and they work really well together, right? But it doesn't have to be. Sage HRMS, paired with the right tools, gives you complete control, from plan setup and employee enrollment to carrier communication and compliance. And the real strength is flexibility. So whether you use Sage HRMS, a third-party portal, or tools like Benefit Messenger, you can tailor the process to your organization's needs and eliminate repetitive, error-prone tasks in the process. So I want to talk about how managing benefits is never simple, but it can be easier. Sage HRMS gives you a strong foundation to manage insurance plans, savings programs, complying tasks like COBRA and HIPAA, and all the employee data that goes with them. But what makes it powerful is that it's flexible. Whether you're using Sage Employee Self-Service, we just say ESS, Sage ESS for enrollment, a third-party benefits portal, or both, you've got options. And when paired with automation tools like Benefits Messenger, the whole process becomes more accurate, transparent, and far less manual. Now, open enrollment and life events create a flood of changes. And if your process relies on paper, email, or spreadsheets, it's a recipe for errors and delays. With Sage HRMS, you can meet employees right where they are, whether that's through paper packets if you must, although I hate them, online self-service, or a third-party portal. Behind the scenes, tools like Benefits Messenger and Delphia's Benefits Portal interface streamline communication with carriers, so enrollments are processed faster and HR doesn't get bogged down in file formatting or status checks. So I want to talk a little bit about Benefits Messenger. This takes out the whole headache of carrier file transmissions. It handles everything: plan mapping, formatting, encryption, scheduling, all tailored to each carrier's exact specs. And Danny, I think, do we have a slide on Benefits Messenger? Did we put one in there next? Yep, there it is. It handles everything, right? We talked about it: plan mapping, formatting. No worries, you stay compliant. Carriers get what they need when they need it. And HR spends less time troubleshooting spreadsheets and more time focusing on people, and we know it's the people that matters. It supports common formats like HIPAA 834, Excel, XML, and once it's configured, it just works, silently keeping everything on track behind the scenes. We don't have a deep dive for benefits management planned, but I think we have cool recordings we could send you, or if demand's high, we'll work to schedule one. So if you want to know more about benefits, type benefits in that questions box now, and I promise we'll follow up with you. So put benefits in that questions box. Next up in our employee lifecycle is time and attendance. Now this seems routine, but it's one of the biggest opportunities to save money and improve compliance. Manual processes not only are time consuming, but they're risky. Think about late punches, missed breaks, or unscheduled overtime. These things add up fast. With Sage Time and Attendance by Delphia, you can automate everything from clock-ins and PTO tracking to policy enforcement and overtime control. You can do it across the desktop, mobile, or biometric time clocks, and it doesn't stop at collecting hours. This tool applies business rules automatically, helping you avoid compliance issues and control labor costs with confidence. So Sage Time and Attendance is designed to work how you work, whether that's in office, remote, or hybrid. Employees can punch in from a kiosk, phone, or even a secure browser. Supervisors get real-time alerts for late punches or absenteeisms, and business rules are enforcing the things like lunch breaks, shift differentials, paid time off, all the things. Best of all, the data flows directly into payroll. There's no spreadsheets, there's no reentry. It's just clean, accurate totals delivered at the end of each period. It even comes with reporting tools to help you spot trends like who's consistently late or which departments are incurring unnecessary overtime, and that costs you money. So that's real insights and real savings. Now, I love you, Susan, because you got the hang of it. There's going to be a deep dive of this on August the 19th. But if you want to learn more, type time in the chat and we'll sign you up for that. And remember, we'll send you the recording if you can't make it live. So you guys get the hang of it, right? You're going to post in questions the name of what we're talking about. And Don, I see you have a question in there, so we'll get that answered for you if we can live by the team of folks behind the scenes. So type time in the questions box if you want to learn more about this. So next up, we need to connect the dots here with payroll. When time tracking is automated and accurate, payroll becomes simpler and far more reliable. Now, the Sage ecosystem supports a variety of payroll engines. You've got Sage HRMS Payroll, Sage 100, and Sage 300. And by the way, Sage Time and Attendance integrates with all of them. So whether you're processing payroll in-house or working with a provider, you're building on a consistent, rules-driven foundation, one that reduces errors, ensures compliance, and saves you serious time. So payroll doesn't have to be like a bolt-on or a black box. Sage offers multiple payroll options, and I mentioned them, right? Sage HRMS Payroll, Sage 100, Sage 300. They all integrate with Sage Time and Attendance and Sage HRMS HR Actions. That means your time data flows cleanly into payroll. Your forms feed directly into the system. And again, Sage HRMS stays the single source or the single point of truth spot. It's payroll built to work with your tool, Sage HRMS, not around it. That's going to save you time, reduce errors, and it keeps everything auditable and aligned. To keep things focused now, we're not going to do a dedicated payroll session, and I am not the guy to do that for you, but we do have some great recordings that we can share with you. So type payroll in the questions box if you want to learn more about payroll. If you have a specific topic within payroll, just let us know. Because I want to move on now to manager and employee self-service. It's expected. Today's employees want access to their data, pay, time off, benefits, right at their fingertips. And managers need to act on requests without chasing HR. I remember years ago, I went to somebody's office and this HR person was sitting behind a desk, and behind them was those hanging like metal pocket things on the wall, screwed into the wall. And there were columns, and they were different colors, like blue, white, red. I'm like, what are these forms? And she's like, oh, blue is for benefits and red is for payroll. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is awful. With Sage ESS, Employee Self-Service and HR Actions, you can eliminate that paper hot mess. You can empower people to find answers, take action, and move things forward without all that paperwork and all the delays that come with paperwork. Everything syncs right back to Sage HRMS, so your system stays accurate and up to date. I love this screenshot because this is self-service on your mobile device. And I remember a new employee, this was a few years back, I admit it, but they downloaded a form to fill out from the web, and it said, please type. And he came in my office and said, I've never used a typewriter. Do we have a typewriter? So, like, you've got to get more modern here. And this is about more than just convenience. It's about capacity. When your team can submit requests online, track approvals, and view data from any device, HR stops being the middle person for every small update. This means fewer calls, fewer emails, and more time for strategic work. And for employees and managers, it builds trust and transparency. They know their info is accurate, and they feel more control of the experience because you've got that single point of truth. So let's talk about how we deliver that. We start with employee self-service, then we can have HR actions. That brings structure and automation to your HR workflow. With over 40 web-based forms just built in, you can cover nearly every life cycle change, like promotions and pay changes and rehires and terminations and more. But you can also build your own forms with any of the fields in Sage HRMS, including payroll, including train. It just excludes some benefits. The forms are configurable, trackable, and routed for approval. You can even include file attachments, and the data gets written right back into Sage HRMS or payroll if needed. It's fast, paperless, and fully auditable. That saves time while reducing risk. Here's a quick snapshot of what HR Actions supports, from onboarding documents like I-9s and W-4s to employee updates. And you can see here we've got them divided up into 3 columns. So you can kind of see where this spans the entire employee lifecycle. So Danny, I think on that next slide, we've got, there you go, that's great. So you can do things like employee updates like address changes or FEMLA requests or manager forms like corrective actions or OSHA incidents. Think of this as your digital HR file cabinet, except it's faster and smarter and connected to Sage HRMS in real time. And you know, the docs, with air quotes, in this digital filing cabinet, if everybody could mute their phones, I hear somebody type in and open in draws, that would be great. And the docs in this digital filing cabinet, they got in there after being filled out online and routed electronically for approval, and then update Sage HRMS. Instead of emailing forms or relying on someone to walk it down the hall, everything happens online with full visibility. And you guessed it, there's a deep dive on this September 23rd. So what I want you to do is type HR actions or just actions in the questions box if you want us to register you for that, and we'll go ahead and sign you right up for that one. Whew, I have to have a sip of iced tea. How's that? We're doing good now. We're really flying. Thank you, Rachel, Howard, Jeanette, Susan, Januel, Sharisa, you got the hang of this. So next up, I want to talk with you about performance management. If your current review process is still done once a year, it's checkbox heavy, you've got HR running around with a clipboard, who filled it out, who didn't do it, who did their form, they didn't do their form, Ralph didn't do their form. That's dreaded by everyone. If you feel like you're just going through the motions, but you don't actually improve performance, you're not alone. And yes, there's a better way. Performance management should be ongoing. It should spark real conversations. It should build accountability, and it should help people grow. Not just rear view mirror, measure the past and then file it away. That's where Maviva comes in. So Maviva is a performance management platform designed to help your organization shift from ratings to results. Unlike traditional reviews, Maviva actually gets used because it helps people stay focused, follow through, and improve over time. Now, we don't have a deep dive for you on performance management scheduled, but I know we have some cool recordings we could send you. So type performance in the chat right now if you want us to send you more information about how you can go from going through the motions once or twice a year to actually improving performance. Next up on our wheel is training. Now, whether it's onboarding, safety, upskilling, or compliance, keeping track of who's taken what, who still needs training, and when it can expire is a real challenge. It's kind of a pain. But training management within Sage HRMS helps you track course completion, manage enrollments, and stay ahead of regulatory guidelines, all in one place. It's not just managing checklists. It's a system that gives you clarity, ensures readiness, and helps prevent risk. Then Sage HRMS makes training management simple. You can assign training based on role, department, or compliance needs, and then monitor completion in real time. You guys are so good. Francis, in the questions box, Francis has already typed training management. You get the whole idea, Francis. I love you. So enrollments, history, and progress are all tracked centrally. And the system integrates with HR actions and alerts and workflows, so training can be assigned automatically when someone starts a new job or misses a required certification. You don't have to chase people down or run endless reports. And the system does the heavy lifting, so you can focus on keeping your workforce skilled, safe, and compliant. And you guys know the drill, right? We don't have a deep dive for training management planned, but we got you covered. Just type training, training management. Sharisha even put please. Sharisha really wants the training management stuff. Just type that in the questions box and we'll make that happen for you. Analytics. How much time do you spend wrestling reports? If you're still exporting data from Sage HRMS into spreadsheets or running static crystal reports, you're not alone. If you still have to go to IT bearing gifts of chocolate or Mountain Dew and beg them to make a report for you, you're not alone. But there's a better way. Sage HRMS HR Analytics gives you real-time visibility into your data. No downloads, no reformatting, no reruns, just to tweak something. It's a modern web-based reporting tool built to help you answer questions fast, spot trends, and share insights without bearing gifts to IT to get it done. So with HR Analytics, you can filter, drill down, build dashboards, visualize your HR, payroll, and HR actions data all from the web. You control who sees what, even down to specific fields and columns, and users don't need direct access to HRMS to use it. Pause on that. Your users don't need access to Sage HRMS to use it. It means if you have a board, if you have an outside CPA, you can give them access to HR Analytics over the web, no problem. Whether you're tracking headcount, turnover, compensation trends, or compliance data, this tool gives you flexible, interactive reporting in real time. And when you're ready to take action, you can pair it with Sage HRMS HR Actions to turn data insights into actionable web-based forms. This is really cool, but you have to see it in action to really see the power. It reminds me of the bridge on Star Trek. Computer, show me this, change this, do this. So we've got a deep dive for you of this on November the 11th. Type analytics in the chat if you want us to register you, or again, we'll just send you the recording if you can't make it. Whew. Alerts and workflow. Now, HR shouldn't be just about reacting. It should be about staying ahead. And that's where alerts and workflow comes in. It acts like a virtual HR assistant, constantly scanning your Sage HRMS data to catch time-sensitive issues before they become problems. Whether it's an expired certification or a missing onboarding form or an upcoming performance review, this tool helps you spot it, act on it, and even automate a response. It's smart, flexible, and fully integrated. Alerts and workflow works in the background 24/7, 365, watching your HRMS data for whatever conditions you defined. And when it finds something that you said was important, you are in control here. Whether that's a missed I-9 or excessive overtime or an upcoming training deadline, it can send an alert, it can trigger a form, it can generate a report, it can even update data automatically. It can even generate an SMS text message. And it's not just for HR. That's the cool thing about alerts and workflow. It's a business application monitor. You can use it across payroll, training, benefits. It can monitor websites. It can monitor emails, anywhere that consistency and timeliness matters. That's why if you've been to my other webinars, I think of it as Mrs. Kravitz from Bewitched. I wish we had a chat here and you could tell me, am I the only person old enough to remember Mrs. Kravitz on Bewitched looking out the window? That's what I think of alerts and workflow. It makes it seem simple, but and it is easy to use. It's incredibly powerful though. Here's a sample of what you can track, and it's totally customizable. These are just some ideas. Time-sensitive events like expiring benefits or an I-9 re-verification, or telling somebody you've hired someone and they need to get an office ready, order a computer, get a badge ready. Data changes like new pay rates or OSHA incidents. Thresholds like excessive absenteeism or overtime. Data quality issues like incomplete reviews or outdated contacts. If it's in Sage HRMS, this tool can monitor it, and it can help you automate what happens next. And I'm going to go a step further to say, remember, it's a business application monitoring system. It's not limited to Sage HRMS. So when you talk to your decision makers about this, you can say, hey, by the way, it can monitor websites, and hey, by the way, emails, hey, by the way, this other database we have. It's all possible. It's like adding another team member who never sleeps. This is powerful. It's that team member that works for you 24/7 by 365 behind the scenes. Now, we have a deep dive on this one, December 2nd, right, at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So type alerts in the questions box if you want us to register you for that one. Carlicia's got it. Rachel's got it. Now, if I mentioned something fast already and you didn't have time to put that in the questions box, that's okay too. You can say something from the past. Howard, I think you've been on every single one. You've gotten every single word in there, right, on like Zoom, incredibly fast. Oh, this is good because it gives me a break to breathe. Let's talk about utilities. We're in the home stretch. Sometimes it's behind the scenes tools that make the biggest difference. And Delphia publishes a powerful suite of utilities that are designed specifically for Sage HRMS and Sage Payroll. These tools automate tricky calculations, they reduce errors, and they save some serious time, especially during payroll processing. Think of these as the unsung heroes. Most of them don't have a flashy dashboard. Maybe they're just a little user portal. Maybe they're just working behind the scenes, but it's rock solid automation that keeps everything running smoothly. And these utilities cover all kinds of specialized needs, like retro pay and bonus overtime calculations, 401k match calculations, garnishments. And if you have folks in multiple, I'm going to say jurisdictions, but especially states where they have different caps and different prioritizations of garnishments and on, it automates it. It can integrate and sync Sage HRMS with Active Directory. So when someone changes their phone number or their title or their manager in Sage HRMS, it's going to update Active Directory, which you know Outlook and everything depends on your address book. So it's just beautiful how all these things complement that ecosphere. If you've ever said there has to be an easier way to do this, there probably is. And one of these utilities, or one of the many more that I couldn't fit on this slide, might be the answer. Now, we don't have a deep dive for each of these utilities, but I know we have recordings about them we can send you. So type utilities in the chat if you want us to send you more data about utilities in general, or if you've got one in specific where you're like, ugh, garnishments, you know, put utilities garnishments or something in that questions box, and we will dig up the right recording and send it to you. So, that was a lot, but that's the power of the Sage HRMS ecosystem: depth, flexibility, and smart automation at every turn. And smart, by the way, I got to tell you, I just came from Sage Future in Atlanta, and Sage is doing amazing things with AI. And we have a little bit of AI right in Sage HRMS. So it's just getting better, folks. How do you take the next step? Well, you don't need to tackle everything at once. The Sage HRMS ecosphere is modular, which means you can start where you'll get the biggest return and build from there. Whether that's recruiting, performance management, time tracking, or reporting, you start with the piece that solves a pain point you're dealing with right now. And the best part, every solution you've seen today is backed by Sage, integrated and supported. So you're not starting from scratch. Here's what you can do next. Number one, reach out to your Sage partner and schedule a discovery session. And remember, your Sage partner is here to help. They're here to help you succeed. I would schedule that discovery session, but do a little homework first. Go into it prepared. Answer this question. If you could wave a magic wand and change anything in your world when it came to HR or payroll or recruiting or think of the whole wheel here, what would it be? Do that homework and get the most out of that discovery session. Now, they should guide you through a conversation that helps you with your employee journey and goes around that whole wheel, but do some homework first. It's worth spending a little time, step out of your business to look in your business, because who knows what's changed the last time you did that. You could request a configuration review, especially if it's a long time since you've had one, and they're free. So you can do that from your partner, you can do that from Sage. If you don't know who to reach out to folks you know, reach out to me. I'll make sure that you get pointed in the right direction. You can sign up for one of the deep dive webinars. You could subscribe for solution updates and case studies. Every one of these steps brings you closer to a smarter, more streamlined way to work with Sage HRMS. We're here to help you succeed. And I want you to think about this for a minute. I tell this to folks all the time. If you're sitting here saying, I'm a payroll person or I'm an HR person, I'm going to challenge you to rethink that. I want you instead to say you're a business professional with expertise in HR or payroll. As a business professional, your job is to find, recruit, hire, onboard, develop, retain the people who help an organization achieve its vision by executing on the mission every single day while following your organization's values. To be that person, to impact the whole business, you have to get out of the weeds and stop with checklists and clipboards and typing. You have to get tools to make all that stuff easy, streamlined, compliant, so that you have time to really make an impact on the business. Now, we've covered a lot of ground today, and I hope it sparks some ideas. So now's your chance to ask questions, whether it's about a specific product, a use case, integration, what the rollout might look like for your team. No questions too small. They might be too big for us to answer here, and we'll have to follow up with you, but none are too small. And I promise we'll follow up with you. So I want to open it up to see if anybody has any questions. I know some have flown in that questions box, right? But a lot of them were the sign me ups.
Oh,
So
for sure.
you want to guide us through? I think Donna had the first one.
Yeah, I know a lot of them have been. So one question is ESS part of Messenger and benefits? Is benefits messenger, I'm sorry, is benefits messenger part of ESS or / benefits? So
and someone here can correct me, Danny, you can help me, but benefits messenger is a separate component as part of this ecosphere that helps communicate your benefits from what's been added to Sage HRMS, say through ESS up to your carrier. Is that true, Danny? Did I get that right?
100% correct, my friend.
And correct. I see one way up front from Donna, right? Is iRecruit and onboarding, is that different than using HR actions and the dynamic checklist, correct? Yes, Donna, that is correct. So iRecruit is a full applicant tracking system. And iRecruit also has onboarding capabilities. HR Actions is really all about paperless web forms. We do have some onboarding forms, and you can dynamically assign those with dynamic forms checklist, but it's definitely not the full recruiting solution that you get with iRecruit. And I think we have Brian, Kelly, and Lindsay on here to help. Did I get that right?
Yes. And another one is, does detailed time data flow into analytics?
Joe, the answer to that question is absolutely. iRecruit and iConnect, which is electronic onboarding, is a full system that works together to put the data into the Sage HRMS system as hired. Okay?
Great, that was our previous one. Can we get the current question again? Does detailed time data flow into analytics? Brian Delphia, I think you have an answer for that one, right?
Questionnaire, but Sage Time and Attendance has its own reporting, and if you're interested in the reports catalog, put reports catalog in the chat. We can send that to you. But it does not pass the time data to analytics, Sage HRMS HR analytics. It does pass it to payroll, obviously, you get paid, but most of the reporting is already self-contained in the time and attendance system. But it's an open system, so you can get that data out and do reporting on with whatever, if you really need to. But we don't have many requests for that, to be honest.
And Donna, I see your interest in performance, so we got you covered there. I'm still scrolling. Do you see any other questions in there?
Yeah. Is iRecruit onboarding different than using HR actions and the dynamic checklist?
That's the one we just answered twice.
Okay, perfect. All right. I knew you said you had noticed it, but I didn't know if you'd answered it. Okay, great. Yeah, that's all the questions we have from the audience. I do have one personal question that I always like to ask at the end of these webinars, especially such great add-ons and everything like that. You know, we have a lot of people here. There's always a lot of decision makers and people they got to get buy-in from. So kind of what would be your pitch is like the biggest benefit overall to do an add-on? Like, what would you tell your boss if you're trying to get them to do one of these add-ons?
Oh, isn't that like asking who's my favorite child? That's a dangerous one.
Good question.
I think it really comes down to where do you spend a lot of your time. I think it comes down to impact. How's that? Mm-hmm. So I'm a huge fan off the bat of employee self-service, right off the bat, Sage ESS, because I cannot imagine HR folks anymore taking phone calls that go like this. Hi, this is Ralph. How many days left do I have of PTO? 7. I think I have 8. 7. I think I have 8. 7. Can you tell me why you think I have 7 versus why I have 8? I mean, this is a dreadful conversation, and ESS solves that. I can't find my paycheck. I can't find my W-2 at the end of the year. Like, ESS solves all those things, and it benefits it has a huge impact, right? Because it's all your employees. I think extending that self-service to forms, like with HR Actions, that has a huge thing. If you said, though, I'm a quick serve food company and we are hiring folks all the time, I would say, oh my God, iRecruit right off the bat, right? Alerts and workflow, I got to admit, I love it. It's Mrs. Kravitz from Bewitched. If you're constantly trying to run reports to see if something's out of whack, or you don't even notice if something's out of whack, use alerts and workflow. And I use it, this sounds terrible, but have it send a manager a reminder of it's somebody's birthday or anniversary. Now that's trivial use of iRecruit. I mean of alerts and workflow, but it makes people feel loved. And that's important. A powerful one, though, that I worked on with alerts and workflow was a company who said, we need to be able to tell employees that don't go to work, there's a tornado or hurricane coming. So we need a texting platform that texts everyone, rah, 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 rah. No, you don't. You need alerts and workflow because it can monitor emails, set up a secret email address that only HR and the C something O's know about. They can send an email to that address with one word that's, or 2, stay home. And alerts is smart enough, Mrs. Kravitz sees that and boom, can text every employee. Think out of the box. So
absolutely. And I think the big takeaway from that is the 2 big things I heard that were consistent throughout all the add-ons where it's going to save you time and make sure you put effort where you need to put it and minimize the effort where we can automate and make it better. So great takeaways. We did have a few last minute questions if you want to answer them. Sometimes when an employee requests PTO through the self-service portal, we face challenges in approval. Also, once payroll is complete, process PTO and requested PTO add up together to create a net balance wrong. So do you have any, fixes for that or any suggestions for that situation?
Oh, Danny. Any thoughts, Danny? I think we might have to talk to Anish offline about that one.
Yeah, definitely ping me with that afterwards. I promise I will get back. Definitely get back. Yeah.
All right, I think that's the only other one we had, other than a few questions about pricing and like bundling and discounts and everything like that, which I'm sure Danny will be happy to help with right after.
Yeah.
All right.
Real quick too, so if everyone hear me here, this is Danny Martinez. Please jot down my email address. It is danny.martinez@sage.com. So it's danny.martinez@sage.com. Please reach out to me.
All right.
And I'm going to change a slide here because we have a few more. Joe, I'll let you take away with this.
Oh. Now, we tried very, very quickly to give you just an overview, to just give you an idea. Remember I said it was the tasting menu? So the deep dive starts here. Each of these upcoming webinars will go into one of the key add-ons we previewed today. You'll get live demos, real-world examples, and plenty of time for questions. In fact, we're going to try not to have many slides at all on these deep dives. We're really going to focus on the demo. So here you can pick the ones that matter most to your org. If hiring is your hotspot, start with iRecruit. If compliance is a challenge, start with alerts and workflow. They're all free and they're all built to help you make confident, informed decisions. Now, the reality is GoToMeeting polls have limits, but our enthusiasm doesn't. So alerts, number 6 couldn't fit. We only could put 5, and number 6 is the one in December. Just type alerts in the chat if you want us to register you for that in December session. You can also click on this PDF. You'll get it later today, but there's links everywhere for all of these. So we're here to help make all this sign up stuff easier for you. We're going to give you just a minute or 2 so you can go down this list. Now, this poll says please select one, so you have to just pick your favorite. We had hoped we could do a pick many, but it looks like we did a pick one. So type it in the questions box.
No worries. And we'll also, during the webinar, if you chatted that you wanted one of these as we were going through it, we'll also notate that. So you'll be signed up for all the ones that you've noted either in the chat or in this survey. So don't worry.
And I also want to remind you about the handouts. Remember, there are handouts right in that GoToWebinar control panel, so you can get some more information right away. The theme today has been smarter ways to work, and that's exactly what this ecosystem is about. The right tools, when integrated well, don't just make HR jobs easier. They help your whole organization run smoother. Whether it's hiring, payroll, performance, compliance, the Sage HRMS ecosphere helps you do more with less effort and with greater confidence. So with that, I want to thank you for spending time with us today. I hope you're leaving with some new ideas, maybe even a little excitement about what's possible with Sage HRMS and its ecosystem of partner solutions. We look forward to seeing you at the deep dive webinars. And if you have any questions in the meantime, reach out. You know how to reach me, I'm sure. You know how to reach Danny. We'd love to join your professional networks on LinkedIn. We're here to help. Your business partners are here to help. I hope you have a great rest of your day, a great weekend. If any of you are headed to SHRM Annual next week in San Diego, I'll be there.
Joe, thank you so much. I cannot thank you enough. The human resources icon has spoken. Thank you, sir. And everyone, thank you for joining today. Have a great day.
Thanks, everybody, and bye for now.